Hi, this is Erling.
This is Judy. Welcome to Travel Trail Sail.
Today we're sharing 6 reasons that we love state parks.
Be sure to stay tuned till the end where we share a new segment with you, State Park News.
We absolutely love state parks, and we love getting out and doing all kinds of outdoor activities and sharing with you those visits to state parks on our YouTube channel and on our blog. And today what we thought we'd do is just share some of the reasons that we really enjoy state parks. Now, we do love national parks too. They're amazing, and we've visited Glacier and Yellowstone and the Grand Canyon, all kinds of national parks, and they are fantastic. But state parks offer some outdoor activities that are maybe a little closer to you, and we think you're going to enjoy them. So right now we're going to share with you those 6 reasons that we love state parks.
So one of the reasons we really love state parks is that they are very family friendly. And we often took our kids when they were younger to state parks. There's usually a lot of ranger-led activities for the kids, which is really a lot of fun. And you learned a lot, you know.
Yeah.
They have activities for the kids, oftentimes craft projects, maybe even making like a hiking stick or a bracelet. They often have playgrounds and then shelters you can rent or reserve for special family events, you know, like birthdays or family reunions. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of family-friendly activities. Oftentimes they have trails that might be a little bit easier for the younger kids. So a lot of fun things to do as a family.
Absolutely. It's a great way to get outside, get access to nature, and maybe learn something along the way too. Our next reason for loving state parks is that they tend to be very affordable. Imagine that you can get a day pass for $5 or $7 and spend the whole day out at a state park. And in fact, sometimes you can even get in for free. Now, Judy, when we were visiting 7 Points just outside of Nashville, we headed over to a state park for a day, and we could access all the hiking trails, and it was completely free. So that was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
But, you know, even at the other state parks that we visited, it's often a very small charge for the day. And you can even get an annual pass where for one fee, you can go as many times as you want. So whether it's the camping fees or day passes, the picnic shelters Judy mentioned, they're often a really inexpensive, affordable way to get outside.
Yeah, and oftentimes state parks have a lot of interesting things to see. Like at Pocahontas State Park, they have a CCC museum, which was really interesting just to learn about the whole history of the CCC and how parks were made and developed by the CCC. At Chip Oaks, there's a farm museum that has all kinds of like really antique farm equipment, which was really interesting. And another example is at Machicomico, they have a timeline that shows the history of that area from dating back like prehistoric to current. And it's really interesting the way they display that history. It's like using a
It's like a train rail.
Train rail.
Yeah, and they have all marked along all of these times in history so that you can kind of understand what's been happening with this place over hundreds or thousands of years.
Yeah, so it's really, state parks are a great way to learn about your local area and learn some of the history.
You know, think about the beautiful nature that you can get at a state park. And we mentioned going to national parks, and they are fantastic. There's nothing quite like going to Yellowstone or the Grand Canyon, but you know, state parks have a lot of really beautiful nature too. We were at Raven Rock State Park last year, and I was just kind of in awe of this rock that was along a river, and you just kept walking, and you were looking up at this thing going, wow, it is just so amazing.
It was.
But, you know, in Virginia, they added the Natural Bridge as a state park recently, and that's a really amazing piece too. In colonial times, the Natural Bridge was considered as much a wonder as Niagara Falls, and things like that. So I mean, it's just amazing to get to go and hike along a trail and see this beautiful natural wonder. You can even see fossils. For example, at Westmoreland State Park, there's a fossil beach, and we often see people wading in the water and looking for fossils. So you might find a shark's tooth, and imagine that. You're in a state park and you can come across an ancient artifact like a fossilized shark tooth. It's just amazing, you know?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool. Another reason we love state parks is that they often have a campground in the state park. Not all state parks, but many of them do. And they tend to be really nice sites, plenty of room between sites, and way less expensive than, say, the private campgrounds, which are very nice.
Oh, yeah. We like private campgrounds, don't get us wrong, but state parks are a really nice way to camp.
Yeah, and, you know, they tend, again, to have lots of space between the sites. Usually just get water and electric. Sometimes they have full hookups, but it's so nice, and you're just tend to be in a wooded site. You have a campfire,
campfire ring, and it's quiet. You can wake up and hear the birds in the morning, and it's a peaceful place to camp.
And you don't have to have a camper or RV. I mean, you can tent camp. They often have cabins you can rent or yurts.
Yeah.
So lots of options of ways you can camp in a state park. And again, it's very reasonable as far as the fees.
Absolutely. And we love camping in state parks. I think if you've seen our videos, we've tried to share that. And the number one reason we have for loving state parks is just access to outdoor activities. Now, whether that's hiking on a trail or biking, kayaking, we don't have horses, but there's often equestrian trails. So there is so much that you can do outside at a state park. We often see if there's access to water that you can fish, or there's often boat launches if you have a boat. So it's just a great way to get outside. So, check out the outdoor activities, because if you want to stay active, you've been sitting at your desk and you have a day job like we do, and then on the weekends you can get out and get a hike in or ride your bike. So
yeah, and it's so refreshing and energizing just to get outside and enjoy, outdoor activities like that. And I have to add too that state parks do allow dogs on the trails where national parks often do not. Right?
That's
so
right, yeah.
Our little Rita, you may have seen her in past videos, she absolutely loved going on a hike in a state park.
Absolutely. They tend to be pet-friendly places, family-friendly, and so all things considered, we love state parks. So we just thought we'd share with you a few of the reasons that we enjoy them and why you might want to check them out too.
Yeah, so if you are a fan of state parks, keep going, keep supporting the state parks. If you haven't been to a state park near you, I highly encourage you to check it out one day, and see how you like it. I think you'll be very, very pleased.
And if you have a favorite state park, we'd love to hear about it. Please leave a comment and share your favorite state park or your favorite memory of visiting a state park. We really are interested and want to know. We're going to try something different. This is State Park News, and the idea here is that we're going to share state park news from across the country. So for March 2023, here's your State Park News. In Virginia, they continue to offer the Trail Quest Challenge. If you haven't tried this yet, you can register on the Virginia Parks website, and after your first hike, you get a neat pin. And then on subsequent hikes, I think it's after 5, 10, and 20, you can get additional pins. Then at the end, if you've hiked all of the trails, you actually get to meet with a ranger and they give you a special pin. There are so many activities happening in Virginia state parks all throughout the month of March. We just thought we'd highlight one of them for you. That is on March 25th. It is Kite Flying Day. And so at Sailors Creek Battlefield State Park, There's a hands-on activity to make a kite, and then, weather permitting, you'll get to fly that kite. The rangers are going to share some information about how kites have been used in the past. For example, they were actually used for communication during the Civil War. So I didn't know that. Sounds pretty interesting. If you're near Sailors Creek Battlefield State Park, check out Kite Flying Day on March 25th. North Carolina has announced that 2023 will be the year of the trail. They've introduced a commemorative bandana, which you can buy in the state park gift shops or online. So if you're into hiking trails, get that North Carolina State Park bandana and then go for a hike. North Carolina has also announced that they've approved $13 million for park improvements this year. They're going to be improving 11 different state parks and state facilities. I remember when we were at Falls Lake State Park about a year ago, we actually saw them improving some of the campsites. So that work is ongoing, and they're going to continue to work to keep their parks up to date. In South Carolina, the Ways and Means Committee has proposed spending up to $25 million on state parks, including the build-out of the Ramsey Grove State Park in Georgetown, South Carolina. We absolutely can't wait to see that. They have 3 pieces of land acquired and are trying to think through how best to build them out to provide access. And so if you're in the Myrtle Beach area and looking for some activities, hopefully in the near future, Ramsey Grove State Park will be open, and I absolutely can't wait to check it out. Texas is celebrating their 100th year of having state parks. And I guess in Texas, this is a case of you win some and you lose some, because they actually have a state park that recently closed. At the end of February, Fairfield State Park closed. It had been open for 50 years and is now going to become developed into a community. However, a new state park is set to open in Texas. According to the Texas Farm Bureau, Palo Pinto Mountains State Park will be the first new state park in North Texas for over 25 years. It's going to be a 4,800-acre state park built on former ranch land between Fort Worth and Abilene. And so hopefully one of these days we'll get down to Texas and check out the new Palo Pinto State Park. Can't wait to see updates on that. Georgia State Parks in March is offering some bird watching activities. They're calling this Take Flight. And if you participate in at least 4 bird watching activities in March, you can actually receive a prize from the Georgia State Parks. And highly recommend it. It's great to check out the birds when you're in state parks, and the Georgia State Parks we visited have all been super nice. So get out and do some bird watching in March in Georgia. Well, that's our state park news updates for March 2023. We'd love to hear what's happening with state parks in your area. So if you have some news you'd like to share, keep us updated on the state park news from your area so we can include it on a future video. And we look forward to providing this kind of update on a regular basis. So if you liked this state park news, please let us know by leaving us a comment. Appreciate your support.
Thanks for joining us today as we shared with you why we love state parks and our new segment, State Park News. We hope you really enjoyed it and found it helpful, and we'll see you again real soon.
Bye.